got love for you, man. You know what I'm saying?
What are we talking about? You know, I'm not here to start any trouble.
I'm only going to say nice things about you from now on. I think you're handsome, and I think you're a wonderful host.
I'm fat and I'm overweight. Just don't say anything silly.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take it serious.
You know, I don't want y'all to take anything out of context that I'm saying.
He's very funny. He likes to joke around a lot.
As a personality and as an entertainer, yes.
This is going to be really quick. I'm not taking any questions.
Go ahead and get comfortable. I'm going to talk for a little bit.
You're listening to Cabbie Presents, the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Cabbie Richards. Glad you guys continue to tune in, click, download, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment on the on iTunes. If you don't like it, say so. If you like it, I love you, and you'll get a hug from me when we meet in real life. Have you guys read the ESPN the magazine story about Floyd Mayweather? Before I get to it, does anyone know the origin of Floyd and Justin Bieber's relationship? I don't, but I want to know how it started and what it entails. I'm not sure why, but I'm just really curious. So his fights are becoming more of a spectacle because of who comes to the ring with him. In his most fight with Canelo Alvarez, Lil Wayne performed a milli walking alongside Floyd Mayweather into the ring, while Justin Bieber stood on the other side of Mayweather. So you have Floyd Mayweather in the middle. To his right, Lil Wayne. To his left, Justin Bieber, both wearing sunglasses, on the way to the ring. But what I found more puzzling was that Denzel Washington was in Floyd's camp. So when they got into the ring, you see Denzel in a black Yankees cap, black on black, in the background yelling something that's inaudible to the audience. But there's Denzel Washington, two-time Oscar-winning Denzel Washington, who's rarely seen in public outside of Lakers games and Knicks games sitting courtside. But now he's in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, Lil Wayne, and Justin Bieber. It was a magical moment. Back to the article. It was published a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not like breaking news or anything like that. If you haven't read it, it's very strong. I think it's in the September 17th issue of the magazine. So it's like very revealing, and the access the writer gets to paint a picture of Floyd's life is impressive. From traveling on Floyd's G5 on this 11-city press tour, to watching him spend thousands in a mall in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to one of his customary, random late-night workouts in Las Vegas, to seeing Floyd Mayweather's checking account receipt. If you haven't read the story, I'm going to ruin the most salacious part. Floyd Mayweather's checking account balance. It has 11 digits. It's over $123 million. The writer was on the Dan Le Batard show recently, and it was brought up in conversation as to why Floyd Mayweather decided to show him this. ESPN, or perhaps it was Forbes magazine, estimated his net worth at $100 million in 2012. So maybe Floyd caught wind of this, and maybe Floyd decided to prove in his own way that he was undervalued. It's a fascinating life that he lives, if only looking at his material possessions, if you're into that kind of thing. But one part of him that people overlook when they see his glamorized, overt, fully emancipated lifestyle, he's living the American dream, and he's earned every penny of his fortune. I've heard it said that hard work is not glamorous. And the way he works out is like he's possessed with greatness, possessed with the idea of greatness. He's bigger than the sport of boxing and one of the greatest ever. Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Floyd Mayweather is 45-0. With that said, I lost $100 betting on Canelo Alvarez, who lost in a decision to Floyd on September 14th. Yeah, I'm that guy. I interviewed Floyd Mayweather in June in anticipation for the fight when he was doing some press. And I asked him about, banking. And, what I try to do in interviews is to make athletes seem relatable. Like, just seem like regular dudes. Because most of them are regular dudes, except that they have this extraordinary talent. So, in this interview that I, which unfortunately got the tape, the disc that it was shot on got damaged, and this interview will unfortunately never be seen. That certainly hurt when that discovery's made. But in this conversation with Floyd, I asked him, like, when you go to the bank, Floyd, what does that look like? Like, and in this ESPN, the magazine story, it says that he likes to go the old-fashioned way, to go to a teller or whatever. But I didn't know that back in June when I was interviewing him. But I asked him, what does the process look like to you? Is it, do you go in a vault, and is there a butler in the vault with white gloves that has, a section of this, of a private vault for you? And he said that when you withdraw large sums of money, you have to order it. So a Brinks truck will actually drive to your residence and deliver $2, $3, $4, $5 million worth of cash. You have to order it. And I was floored by that, but it's awesome. My guest today correctly predicted the outcome of the Canelo Alvarez-Floyd Mayweather fight because he's not an idiot like yours truly. He took an interesting path to get to the major leagues, and his impact in Toronto is huge. Get ready for some great stories. Always honest, always fun, always giving. He steps to the mic right now.
If it's going to be an interview, I'm going to conduct it. So I'll answer my own questions, ask myself the questions, then give y'all the answers.
The last time I saw this man, I was embarrassing myself at the Jose Bautista Celebrity Golf Classic on the mic. On the day, they raised close to 6 figures. Like, it's a great event. So we're in a room filled with people that played a round of golf with nearly half of the Blue Jays team, eating a good meal, buzzing from the day, buzzing from the drinks, and there I am on stage making fun of former Blue Jays pitcher Jesse Litch's daddy belly. I have zero self-awareness and talk about hypocrisy at its finest. The man that joins me today has hit 168 home runs in a Blue Jays uniform and is one of the most popular players in all of Major League Baseball. I'm happy to be joined by Jose Bautista. Welcome back to the Cabbie Presents podcast, sir.
Thanks for having me again.
So where were you yesterday? We were supposed to record this yesterday. What happened yesterday?
I was at the airport yesterday. Actually, I had a cousin and her husband coming from Spain. They were actually supposed to land on Thursday night. Their flight got canceled. Then they got pushed to a flight Friday, and then their flight got delayed a couple of times. So I was stuck at the airport for a little bit, but I haven't got to see them in 8 years, so it was worth the wait.
Is it weird to be like, for someone to ask you that, like, you have cousins in Spain, like Spain? I know, like, you are, like, your Spanish heritage or Dominican heritage, but you have cousins in Spain. Is that, maybe that's weird. Maybe that's an ignorant thing to ask you.
No, it's not, actually. She's from the Dominican as well. She
okay.
moved there to go to college. And then
nice.
she fell in love and got married, and she's been there for 8 years now.
Do you like the dude?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, you can't say you don't like him, so that was a stupid question. Because you're super diplomatic. Even though you're honest, you can't be like, yeah, the guy's kind of a...
But it is honest, and I got to know him for a while, and then over the phone, and just, exchanging emails and stuff. So even though I haven't met him in person, I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he's a stand-up dude, so I'm happy that my cousin's with him.
Are they staying at your crib, or just staying at your place?
Yes.
Do you have like a big-ass place here in the city?
No, those are kind of hard to come around.
Big ass places here.
Yeah, I would love to have more space, but especially for rent, they don't come up on the market very often. So we have a decent sized, nice place.
They don't have to sleep on the couch.
No, they don't.
So look, dude, I'm watching the Discovery Channel 2 days ago, just late at night, and I'm watching. It's like one of those great migration episodes, and there's camera crew is like is filming these cheetahs, and they're just waiting for the shot where the cheetah kills an antelope or kills a what are they like an impala. Look, it's this guy for like 30 days is just getting frustrated with this cheetah. And then it reminded me of I just did an interview with Adrian Peterson, and I asked him, like, when you went to Africa, Adrian, did you see an animal there that could catch you? And he said, yeah, I saw a cheetah. And then it brought me back to, in 2010, I got to go to South Africa to watch the World Cup. Now, growing up, I know baseball is your love, but how big is soccer in the Dominican Republic?
You know, it captivates a portion of the population, but not most of us. Like for us, baseball is like hockey. It's like in our blood.
Oh yeah.
But then basketball and soccer are definitely number 2 and number 3 sports for people down there. And even though a lot of people might not play soccer, they certainly follow it. But in the city where I'm from, and half of the population of the whole country lives in the city, you know, that big open space is not easy to come around.
Oh,
so,
right.
So there's not a lot of places where you can play. Only a handful of spots that you can play soccer at. So for that reason, I think it's impossible for it to get that popular.
So, Jose, when the World Cup comes around, and I believe all sports fans get swept up in it because it's the global tournament. It's huge. Even if you're a casual soccer fan, you'll root for the country, our country, if your country's not represented. When this World Cup does come around, who do you root for? Which country do you root for?
It all depends if some of the Latin American countries are in it.
Right. They're always in it, dude. Like Ecuador. Last time.
Like Paraguay, Uruguay,
yeah,
Chile,
and Venezuela,
those guys. Venezuela's been moving up. Colombia used to be real good back in the day. So I used to root for Colombia. Then I've.
Dude, did you ever see the Two Escobars documentary on the 30 for 30?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it was the best one ever. The Two Escobars is amazing. Sorry I cut you off there. I just got excited.
It's all right. I'm going to have to go find that one on YouTube or something. But, lately, I have my favorites, depending on the region of the world. So
what are the favorites? Just those three? Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, and Colombia?
If I go for Latin America, I go for Brazil. Even though that they speak Portuguese, they're still, in South America and all that. And in Europe, I go for Italy.
Really?
I like the way the Italians play.
Yeah, but Jose, you can't like how those guys dive and like they make it operatic, and it's like you can't like that about the Italian, the Azzurri.
I don't, because at times it opens up the defense.
So when guys are flopping around, that's the thing that I hate the most about soccer. Just the theatrics that these dudes have, and like the Latin dude. I don't think the players from the South American countries really do that. The other European countries, I don't really see the African countries. Those guys don't really do that. It's like, and I shouldn't cast aspersion on only the Italians, but those guys are like the best at it.
But they're a little more dramatic, than the normal soccer players. So that's okay. But they're really talented as well, and they've been doing good in world tournaments in the last couple of years. But yeah, speaking about flopping, basketball players have been,
okay, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
There was a lot of talk about the flops in the NBA, and
but now they get fined though. $5,000, like real money comes out of their pocket.
Yeah, but how many guys that actually flopped did get fined?
I think
10%.
No, I don't even think that many. But
All
the
right.
threat of you're losing money if you are lowering the game in that, like, NBA is one of those leagues, man. They'll fine you for everything.
Yeah.
NBA and the NFL.
That is true. So we'll see if they keep a stat on how many flops they prevented.
Do you guys ever get fined? Baseball players, I feel like, never get fined.
Every time you get ejected, you get fined, and every time you slam your equipment, you get fined.
Do you actually? Oh, it's just not publicized.
Exactly.
So how much? Okay, if you break your batting helmet, how much is that? What is that? Like $500, $1,000?
You don't even have to break it. It's just
or when you
slam it. And I mean, if it depends too on why you slammed it. So if you slam it because of an on-field decision or something, it'll cost you, $750, $1,000 bucks. Yeah, and
Dude, you've lost thousands this year because you've been fired up. Like you did, like dudes like as we were talking over text once. Like I feel like it's personal. Like dudes, like umpires have a vendetta against you. So like not only are they frustrating you in the game, but then it's like you're seeing like your paycheck reduced by several $1,000 because you had to go take a shower early.
Yeah, I lose a couple grand every year, but I guess I gotta write it in the budget. But in all seriousness, it's something that I need to get better at, and I'm working on it.
No, but this year, it's got to be 5 figures of like, it's got to be like 25 G's that you forked over. It's not that money.
No,
how much?
I haven't even broken 5 figures. So
this year.
Yeah, this year. I've only gotten ejected. I only got ejected once this year.
Really? Maybe it seems like because you're just
because
when you get that hot Latin blood, you're just fired up all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it makes the headline just 'cause I get a little more fired up than the normal player.
Well, that's because you're passionate about the game. So I saw you tweet 2 weeks ago your starting lineup in your fantasy football team. Who are you in this football pool with?
Well, this one was the Blue Jay pool. There's Casey Jansen, Darren Oliver, let me see who else we got. Mark DeRosa, Dustin McGowan. It's a 12-team league, so
also only 12.
Josh Tolley, and I'm in 2 different leagues. So this one I'm doing with the guys on the team, and then I'm in a separate
with just like your buddies,
with a couple of friends from all over,
who just like your boys, not necessarily baseball players.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
off the field friends.
Okay, so when that's 12-team league, like aren't like 25 guys on your team? How many guys are on your team? 20?
Yeah, but some guys don't even like it.
Okay, so it's not like
nobody's fighting for a spot.
Okay, I was gonna say, is there like a draft to get into the pool?
We actually had to recruit the 12th person.
Really?
Yeah, we put a couple coaches in there too. We got it's a good league though. It's a lot of trash talking.
So I can imagine. Who's the chief trash talker in that clubhouse?
Well, I don't think there's anybody taking charge in that, but there's somebody that's taking a beating. So we got the league sandbag is Josh Tolley. He had a pretty bad draft, and everybody's giving it to him because
that's awesome. He must have had Tom Brady, because even though Tom Brady is Tom Brady, he's one of the greatest ever. He hasn't played that well so far, and he's got like 4 rookies. Like his whole receiving staff.
I mean, I can show you everything on my phone right now, but.
I'd love to see it.
He drafted a quarterback he waited till the 9th round.
To get a quarterback?
Yes.
That's not good strategy.
I'm telling you that he had a bad draft.
Okay, so legendary trash talkers, which leads me to Michael Jordan. I don't know if you ever, I don't know how like obsessed you get about baseball. I know like you said growing up, like baseball was like it's in your blood. So MJ is like this legendary, he's like at his level of competition is like he was like possessed. And I don't know if you guys do you hear the story? And I read this in a book, I think it was called When Nothing Else Matters, and it was by a guy named Michael Leahy. He used to write for the Washington Post. MJ used to, tell me a similar story if you have one. He was so competitive that he used to bet his teammates whose bag would come off the belt at the airport, the carousel first. And he would bet thousands of dollars on whose bag would come out first, but he would pay the airport guys $100 to make sure that his bag always came out first. So he's making $5,000 off Tyronn Lue and these other guys on his team, but he's only spending like $100. Have you ever encountered someone that competitive, or are you that guy? Are you that competitive?
I'm competitive like that, and there's certainly been a lot of teammates that are that competitive, but nobody that takes it to the level of betting because of it. A couple of guys, yeah, they like to bet. I had Fran Francisco, and I had a couple other guys that own horses, that own,
wow.
I know what the can of worms I'm opening with this one, but they own cocks for fighting. So they like betting, but nobody takes it to on the field betting. It's something that we've managed to stay away from, luckily.
Yeah, but that wasn't on the. MJ was like betting
true.
at the airport.
This is I guess on the team travel and stuff, but nobody really done that. Other than the casual poker game on the flights, there's not a lot of betting going on.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to rewind to the cockfighting part. So how do you? I remember this. I don't know. Do you watch Eastbound and Down?
Yes.
Okay, when it's coming, season 4 starts in like a week or something. So does it look anything like it did? The one season where Kenny Powers goes to Mexico for the whole, and I think it opens, and he's got the cornrows, and he's like, does it look anything like that from what you know of?
It does. I mean, we can pull some stuff up on YouTube, but it looks exactly like that. And we have a new teammate that, you know, proudly made his new ring for his own cocks to fight in. So it's pretty funny. You know, I'm from the city, so I never grew up with it. But being from the Dominican and having that in our culture, well, I don't want to send, you know, some sort of worldwide organizations.
Listen, but it happens.
Chase them, but you know, I'll keep it at that. But it's in our culture, and it's totally legal down there, and there are some strict rules that you have to follow in order to be able to do this. And he's proud that he just was able to create this. Now he's had his own ring,
so
where he can.
So he can sanction his own events.
Yep.
I think I remember Pedro Martinez actually spoke about cockfighting once, and I think it was like, I think they spoke about it on PTI. I kind of remember. And it was like, it wasn't a big deal. It was like, yeah, this is like, culturally, this is what happens in, you know, some parts of the Dominican. So
that's right. You know, in Spain they still do the bullfighting, and in some Latin American countries they still do bullfighting as well. But in the smaller countries like the Dominican and Puerto Rico, they do a lot of cockfighting. So it's part of the culture for sure.
Wait, so can you get one if you wanted, like a bird? Could you like go in on, you know?
Anybody can. You can have your own.
Do you have one?
Walk in. No. I've never even been to a fight, but
do you want to go though?
No, not really. It's just, I guess, not my style.
Okay, fine. But you're a city dude. You don't really want to drive 4 hours into like some remote part of the north.
No, they actually have places in the city
that do it, like in like a barn, or some like abandoned warehouse.
It's like an arena. It's like a boxing match.
What?
It's on TV. It's
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's big time advertising and marketing around it. It's pretty big.
Jose, what's the name of the dude's? What's the name of his rooster?
I don't know. He's got over 60. So
what?
Yeah, these guys have like the whole flock of.
They have a whole roster of of cocks.
Yes, they do.
This is amazing. I didn't think the conversation was going to go here, but the 8-year-old in me finds this like hilarious.
I know it, but it just, you know, it got teed up.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so wait, so you're competitive on the field, but like you haven't been around like just random, like if I throw this ball from center field and it hits home plate, you give me like you guys like in basketball. You mentioned basketball before. They have, I remember seeing this one video with Gilbert Arenas was shooting 3-pointers versus I think Deshaun Stevenson. And it was 100 makes. I think they had to get 100 makes for like 10 G's or 20 G's or something like that. And it was, I think, and it might have even been with their left hands, but Gilbert won. But there isn't, you guys don't, I guess it's the gym in the state.
I guess the only time I can say that I ran into a situation like that was in the minor leagues. I was playing in Class A in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I had a couple teammates that would love to play the game pluck. It's similar to spades, but you switch which trump is in each hand. And they would love to bet, but not money. When they lost, they had to like dare each other to do something crazy. So
it was probably always sexual, right?
No, actually, they would dare to lick each other in between the toes. They would dare to spit in each other's mouth.
Come on,
like
are you
crazy
kidding?
Stuff. They put one guy in the industrial size clothes dryer.
Oh my gosh.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So
this guy was huge. He was 6'4", like 250 pounds. He was a relief pitcher named Jeff Miller, from New Jersey, I remember. And I haven't talked to him or seen him in a while. But
yeah, because he's not alive anymore.
The last memory that I have of him is him spinning around in this huge clothes dryer that they use for drying the uniforms and the towels. So it was hilarious.
Jose, that's incredible. That is incredible. So wait, so you've seen a grown man lick another grown man in between toes?
Yes. Unfortunately, they kind of did it in the middle of the clubhouse, and nobody was paying attention to the game except for when somebody lost and it was time to pay up.
Then it becomes a spectacle.
Yeah, I'm telling you, crazy stuff. Sticking ice cream pops and bodily cavities.
You know, the miners are just like, it's wild.
Yes.
It's wild. I heard this one amazing story, which it's not for public consumption, but this awesome story about breaking a slump.
Oh yeah.
That it was unbelievable.
There's a line of clothing
called Slump Busters.
Yes.
And I heard this other great, Kelly Gruber told me a great Slump Buster story, which I'm sorry guys, that whoever's listening to this, I can't, I wish I could tell you, but I can't tell you. But what did I want? I've forgotten where I wanted to. Oh yeah. So you mentioned spitting in the mouth. There was a quarterback. This just came out like a couple of weeks ago. There was a quarterback that recently revealed that he had a lineman spit in his mouth once. Like, and his name escapes me. Oh, that's great. I'm just looking at an image for. Just Google Slump Buster. Oh, that's fantastic.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, you have to. You go as big as you can. This quarterback. So it brings me to Tom Brady, who like recently. I don't know who is your quarterback in your fantasy team. Oh, it's Drew Brees, right?
I have Drew Brees in one, and then I have Aaron Rodgers in the other.
Sick. You're just racking up points. So Tom Brady was like furious with his receivers or whatever. It's just like he's like demonstrably pissed off, and he's got these rookies and nothing's going. He's like sulking, he's pouting, and he's showing up his receivers. Does that exist in your game when you're like really pissed at a teammate, whether is it a big situation and the teammate either messes up defensively or doesn't produce? When it goes to the dugout shots, you guys are always like calm, but can you emote like that?
I mean, everybody can, but obviously it's not professional, and you try to make sure that anything that you want to communicate to a teammate is done, not in the limelight, not when the TVs are looking at you, when the cameras are pointed at you. But it does happen, at times, emotions can get a hold of guys, and they kind of have outbursts like that. And I'm sure Tom's feeling a little bit of more pressure normally than he would, because he's got a new receiving core.
Yeah, he's got nobody. Gronk's out.
Amendola's hurt. Gronk's hurt. The new tight end that they were supposed to have didn't really have a good showing in the first game. And
Wes Welker's gone. Aaron Hernandez killed a dude.
So then he feels like he's putting the ball out there, and the guys are just not running the right routes or dropping them. Allegedly.
Allegedly, excuse me.
But he's actually one of those guys that if he does it, you can kind of understand it and kind of allow it to a certain degree, because he's been a legend for so long. So if it was somebody else, it would look even worse. But in baseball, it doesn't happen too often. But every now and then there's a pitcher that gets upset because he's, fighting, struggling, making a good pitch for, like, example, a double play ball, and then it gets dropped. Nobody's trying to drop a double play ball, but, that type of mistakes happen. And I guess guys that are in that type of role, like a quarterback, like a pitcher, they get more upset at mental mistakes than physical mistakes, because it affects them the worst in their personal outcome or statistically in a game. So they're the ones that bear with the loss, basically.
Yeah.
So they do the highlights about a game, and they don't really talk about necessarily. That's not the first thing they point at. Oh, how the team lost. Oh, the pitcher lost the game.
Yeah. So if you're in the dugout and a dude strikes out in a big moment, you have to like force yourself not to react.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm rooting for my teammate. I want him to do good for the team and for himself. But
yeah, but if there's dudes on runners on second and third, one out, and the dude grounds into, I guess it wouldn't be a double play. I mean, it could, whatever. But or like he strikes out and the other guy pops up.
If somebody, for example, bunts with men on third and 2 outs and bunts it right back to the pitcher with a tying run on third, everybody in the dugout is going to be left scratching their head and wanting to say something, but you have to control yourself. And if you do say something to your teammate, be more aware of the situation, was it a mental mistake, kind of try to get to know what he was thinking and do it behind closed doors instead of out where everybody can see.
Has there been, do you know of a guy who had a legendary temper?
Other than myself?
Other than number 19 for the Toronto Blue Jays.
I never take it out on my teammates, though, but I use it for my own driving purposes. That's what kind of keeps me going. I kind of get on myself to push myself. But I've never played with a guy that had a temper to where he showed up a teammate. I've seen a couple of guys show up coaches, which is, in my head, even a little worse than showing up your teammate.
Showing up the coach, really?
Yeah.
Like when they argue in the dugout.
I've seen guys like get base hits, and for some reason the coach didn't send the runner on second to the plate, and I see them on first base kind of jumping around, waving their hands in the air like, what the heck are you thinking? You should have sent them. That's my RBI. Like,
Right.
That kind of thing. And then they get back in the dugout and they get into it. I've had to separate a guy from a coach.
Who?
From a situation like that.
Who?
You know, it's
dude, it's on TV. It's already been on TV, Jose.
Yeah, but it wasn't on this team. It was on a previous team that
well,
I played
that doesn't
for.
matter. The statute of limitations is over. It's up.
No, it's a couple of years ago when I was with the Pirates. It happened with a teammate, and you know, his situation deteriorated pretty fast after that within the team because the coaching staff obviously fell out of favor with him, and then they ended up trading him away.
Is he still playing in the MLB?
No, he's not anymore.
Okay, well, you can say his name. He's not even playing anymore. It's not going to get back to him.
No, I'd rather not. You know, it's one of those things that I feel like I'm saying too much just by even mentioning it that I really don't want to.
It was already on TV. It's okay.
Well, you can go back and do the research.
Well, yeah.
Look at the video.
Some random.
And you can throw him under the bus if I want.
Gladly. When you have these moments, you said that you won't address it with a teammate in front of the cameras, but like
you always try not to. But sometimes you talk about the game and different things. The one thing I guess you don't want to do is act like you're yelling at a teammate as if you were the coach or the manager in front of the cameras, or like telling him, get your act together, get your head out of your butt, in front of everybody, as if it was a child or you were his superior. At the end of the day, you're all teammates, and you're just trying to pull the same rope and in the same direction. So you never want to project that onto the fans, the viewers, or the opposing team.
When you strike out or you don't get a base hit or whatever, and you're walking back to the dugout, do you want anybody to do you want anybody to say anything to you, or you just go on a stew for 2 minutes and then you go talk to your teammates?
I actually like it when guys talk to me, and just because I'm
even
upset,
when you're pissed off,
I'm really approachable. Even when I'm pissed off, I guess it helps me kind of break out of it quicker, which is good. Even though I use it for the drive purpose and to kind of push myself, I need to refocus at some point and get back into the game, whether on defense or for my next at bat. So the quicker somebody talks to me, the quicker I can just snap out of it and get back into the focus of the game.
One other thing about football, when you see wide receivers who are like I guess there's no real baseball equivalent, but when they score touchdowns and they're going through their little dance, not every guy, but some guys have like these routines, and their teammates jump on them before they can get their routine finished. Do you think that annoys them?
I think so. It annoys me. I kind of rather see them dance where they won't hurt themselves instead of seeing guys like jumping on top of each other and like snap a ACL or sprain an ankle. So there's been plenty of injuries like that in the NFL and in baseball in the last couple of years. So I think they should they should ban people from bumping into each other when they're celebrating.
Well, but you guys can't help it when someone hits a walk-off home run. Like that's no greater feeling, I imagine, in baseball.
That's true. I guess we gotta just try to be safe with it.
Do you Torrey Hunter once told me that when he was playing with the Angels, she said Mike Napoli was the guy that always punched dudes in the ribs in the stomach. So they're celebrating with their teammate as this great accomplishment coming down to third base, and he said you really have to brace yourself because you're just gonna get your ass kicked by your teammates. You're just getting punches.
You get punched out a lot, and in baseball at least. And here we actually try to get the jersey over the head,
The jersey, like a hockey
thing.
Nice.
And then punch. But most guys have come aware of the fact that we try to do that, and they now it's especially Lowry. Now it's his goal. He doesn't care if he gets punched. He just doesn't want the jersey to be pulled over his head.
Oh, really?
So he just sits there and takes it, but he's so proud that nobody puts the head over his
jersey over his head.
Jersey over his head.
So you, as a sportsman, as a football fan, you like to see the receivers celebrate, have a dance, and do you like when defensive players make a big hit or a sack? They have like a little. You like that?
I do. I enjoy it. I like it. It's entertainment. That's why people watch the games, and I guess it's different than in other sports with the showboating and disrespecting your opponent. I mean, this is a contact sport. Like, who cares? I'm sure they say even nastier things than just doing a little dance after they knock each other down.
That's true. That's true.
It's just not in the culture of baseball, I guess, and I guess not even basketball, or golf. That would be pretty odd if somebody's like, I just got that birdie in your face. That would be hilarious, but I don't think that's ever gonna. It's just not the culture. But in football and then in hockey, I guess you can get away with more stuff.
Yeah, in hockey they don't even celebrate that big. I mean, well, they jump into the boards. Ovechkin does, and they have that thing where they swipe their hand across the ice in a scoring motion. And I want to two things. I want to so when I was at your golf tournament, we were there. You're raising money for the Bautista team fund. No, the Jose Bautista educational fund.
That's right.
And you have I was reading about your journey to the MLB. So for people who don't know, can you
summarize it?
Summarize it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning, folks. And I'm also a drunk rhino.
Well, it got to the point when I was in the Dominican and I wanted...
You were like 14 or 15?
No, I was 18.
18, okay.
Already. I was trying to... Well, actually, let me start a year earlier. I'm 17, just graduated high school. I'm trying to play professional baseball. I don't find a good enough contract, so I enroll myself in night school for college. So I do 2 semesters while practicing, trying to get signed, and nobody...
What were you taking in college at school?
Well, actually, at the beginning, everybody has to take those basic courses, but my major was business administration.
Okay, got it.
So management, I guess, in the U.S. And nobody gave me a good enough contract, or nobody gave me what I felt was a good enough contract. So luckily I got paired up with an organization out of California called the Latin Athletes Educational Fund, run by a gentleman called Donald Oderman, and they did the same thing that I'm doing now, which is pair up young kids that want to keep playing sports, but they also want to go to school, and they pair them up with a college that's going to cover whatever they can with a scholarship, and then what the college doesn't cover, the foundation steps in and fills in the rest. You have to, have a certain criteria to get accepted or to be able to receive the grants or the help. But then the foundation also stays involved and makes sure that you're successful off the field with your studies, get involved in the community, and also successful on the field, by keeping in touch with your teachers, your coaches, and stuff like that.
How did they find you, though? You said you got paired up with this fund, but if you're one of many young ball players, how did you get picked?
It was tough because back then they didn't have the same access to players that as for example my foundation does now. So the way that I got paired up is one of my former coaches in Little League, his son went through that foundation to school at the same college that I did, and
in the Dominican.
Well, no, in Florida.
Oh, in Florida. Okay, so wait, so you're already in Florida.
My coach from the Dominican, his son had gone a couple years ago to the same college.
Okay.
Then that college placed a call to my old Little League coach, see if they had an outfielder that could potentially come and play for them. So at that time they called me, and I had all my requirements ready to go, and within a matter of 5 or 6 days I was gone to Florida and went to junior college.
So you went to junior college in Florida?
Yes.
Which one?
It's called Chipola College.
Chipotle, like the friggin' burrito joint?
Chipola.
Chipola, not Chipotle.
Chipola. It's the name of an Indian tribe in the Panhandle of Florida that lived there a number of years back. So it was a great opportunity for me, and it opened the doors for everything, because after I went to junior college, then I got drafted, signed with the Pirates, ended up in the big leagues, got traded to Toronto, and here I am today.
So how many years did you play in the junior college? Like, did you have to go to the minors? Or the junior college with like minor league years?
No, it's just same as going to college. So I only play for 2 years instead of 3, because if you go to a 4-year school, you have to wait till the 3rd year to get drafted. That's the rules in baseball. And after I signed with the Pirates, I played minor league ball for 3 years, and then I went up to the big leagues via the Rule 5, and then went back down to the minors for another year, and then came back up, and I haven't been back since.
So one of those 3 years in the minor leagues is where you saw a grown man spit in another grown man's mouth?
Yes, that was in 2003 in Lynchburg, Virginia.
In Lynchburg, you also saw a grown man lick the in between toes of another grown man.
Yes, not the most not the most cleanest thing I've ever seen.
Right, and then you also saw a grown man insert an ice
ice pop or
an icy treat into
a bodily cavity.
Another man.
Yes.
I did this. Okay, two last things. I did a bit recently with these hockey dudes, and the theme of it was telling your teammates, "I love you, man." So like, and I'll ask you the same series of questions. How many times in a year will you tell one of your teammates, "I love you, man"?
I don't know. Maybe once or twice, just being funny like that. But it's kind of awkward. I mean, now that I think about it, it doesn't happen a lot. So, let alone in a serious way. So that would be awkward if somebody does come out and start saying that, serious.
But but I guess generally they probably say it in moments of victory, like man, like a dude gets a huge hit, or I guess in hockey, like a huge goal or a great pass or something, like "I love you, man." So these dudes are saying, like, they say it all the time. Like, and I asked them, like, how do you say it? Do you just put your hand on a dude's shoulder, or do you look a dude in his eyes and say, "I love you, man"?
They probably, if it's hockey, they probably do it in that way. They probably look at each other,
look a dude in the eyes,
and like fix each other's hair and say it.
How do you say it? How do you say it?
I don't. That's the thing.
Ever?
No.
You never tell a dude that you love him.
Not a teammate in the stadium. No. I can't think of one time that I've ever done that. Maybe my brother or a cousin or somebody, like one of my dear friends, Then
there's like, what if like you had a teammate that was just got comfortable too fast, like a new guy? Like, what if Kawasaki was just like, he would just tell you like he loves you, like?
Well, he actually says "I love you guys." But
he doesn't make it individual, like to you, Jose.
No, but just for fun, sometimes when we've had team meetings, we kind of have him do the closing statement of the meeting, and he just spits out Japanese for about 30 seconds, and then he says, "I love you guys." It's hilarious. Just like everything else that he does, he's a funny guy, and we enjoy having him around.
That's a great way to close this, Jose. Amazing that you came in here, and I'm happy to build a friendship with you, and I love our interviews. I always have a great time, and I always try to think of wild things to do, and you're always very generous with your time like you are today. So thank you very much. And the Bautista Education Fund, how much did you guys raise in that the golf tournament?
We haven't done the final tally yet, but
it was like up like close to 6 figures. It was like, yes. I heard it was like 70 or 80 G's or something.
Yeah, it was definitely in that range, and for being at the first event and having great support from my partners, it was awesome. The guys that are kind enough to give me endorsement deals at the same time stepped up and really helped out with the foundation and the cause, so it was great.
Awesome.
And the website is Bautista Family Fund, BautistaEducationFund.org, and that's the full name of the foundation, Bautista Family Education Fund. And there's Twitter handles, and there's Instagram accounts that you guys can follow us at the same time, and it's Bautista Fun. So follow them on Twitter and Instagram.
And if you don't already follow one of the most popular players in all of Major League Baseball on Twitter, it's at JoeyBats19, and on Instagram it's also at JoeyBats19. Jose Bautista, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for your friendship.
Thank you for listening to Cabbie Presents, the podcast.